How you guys doing? This is Derek with Dullen Woodworking. Today we're going to be going over the PowerShot XT gun by Graco. Super pumped to try this out today. I cannot wait. Previously we did a review video on the new Graco 490 XT, the big sprayer. This is the low boy. There's a stand version and a tall boy. But we're going to be hooking this up to that today and checking it out. Now, I did a full review video on that. If you're interested in that, you can go check that out. But I believe in that video, I may have mentioned that it's Bluetooth. Now, I was actually incorrect. It is not Bluetooth, but the PowerShot comes with a Bluetooth display that goes on the 490 XT. So today we're actually going to be replacing the display on it. You'll see how we do that. If you're just looking for that info, down at the bottom, you can look through the chapters of this video. You can skip ahead if you're not interested in the gun or whatever you're looking for or interested in. You can kind of skip ahead to some of those details to save you some time. So let's open this up and let's check this out. Right off the bat, so nice and new. There's no paint on it yet. So you have the gun right there. It's pretty similar to the QuickShot's gun. It's actually, it's a little bit bigger, but it has like the same form and the same trigger. I'm gonna take this right off. I like that it's a little bit bigger though. The QuickShot only has enough room for like one finger or two fingers down here. This, you have kind of enough room for your whole hand. Looks like they packed it in here really nice. Too nice that when I pull things out, everything falls off. Got your belt and a belt clip, which just like the QuickShot, the whole QuickShot sits on your waist. This is going to be really nice because only this is going to sit on your waist with a battery in it, which is a lot smaller and lighter than the entire QuickShot and however much paint you have in the sprayer all on your waist. Let's pull all this stuff out. Got the display, the charger. We'll just take it all out and get the box out of here to give us a little bit more room. All right, so these, as usual, these are usually the batteries. Put them in these boxes. Let's rip one open and take a look. Yep, just the standard DeWalt 20 volt, 2 amp. The charger actually looks kind of like a newer charger. I don't know, I feel like that looks a little different. I am a Milwaukee guy. If you've been following my channel for any sort of time, you would definitely be able to know. Or if you just clicked on my channel, you'd see all the Milwaukee review videos. So I don't know a lot about DeWalt, but they aren't bad. They don't make bad stuff. So yeah, got your belt clip. A little bit different, different look. I'm assuming this fits on there somehow. We're gonna get there. I have not opened this up. I have not used this at all, so this is me doing this for the first time. Now, we'll get to the gun in a second. What I had said before is the display, and that is right here. So that is the new Bluetooth display. You can see the back. You can actually see the circuit board. It looks like it takes a... Never mind, maybe that's not a battery. Actually, no, I think that is a battery. I think that is a tiny battery up here, this circle. I believe that is a battery. There's a circuit board. Open it up. And it's very similar to what you have now, but now it says, has the little Bluetooth symbol right here, and it says Smart Display. So that is going to upgrade your machine to Bluetooth. Comes with 2 screws and a Allen wrench. So it comes with all the things to do it. And well, excuse me, we're gonna be replacing that in a little bit. I'm actually pumped to do that. The fact that this is Bluetooth to the machine, it's gonna be incredible. Because I'm gonna be in a separate room. This is gonna be like in a room while I'm spraying out in the spray booth. And to be able to adjust the pressure just being that far away from the machine is going to be awesome. Let's take a look at the gun. Let's give you a little closer look. Comes with a 517, which I probably won't ever use just because that's really big for cabinetry, and it's also not a fine finish tip. Does have the nice coating holding the wires and the hose all in one all together. Then it has this little spring hose that connects to the hose that's on the machine now. On the back of this is where you would put your battery. Clips right in there. And then there's your plus and minus right here to adjust the pressure from the gun. So a couple other details I want to add before I forget is that first and foremost, the technology in this gun, similar to the QuickShot, and I know I went over some of this in the 490 review video when I talked about the PowerShot briefly, but the biggest deal about this gun is the fact that the orifice, how quickly it opens and closes when you're spraying. So typically if you sprayed a lot with airless sprayers, when you pull the trigger and let go, there's some spurting that happens, and that can be really frustrating if you're spraying like inside of a bookcase, inside something that you're starting and stopping inside of the unit. It's not really that big of a deal if you're like spraying doors and you can start off the door, spray the door, and then let go off the door again. But this is going to be great for, honestly, anything, even spraying doors. It'd be really convenient. But the fact that it opens and closes so quick just minimizes that spurting, actually eliminates it completely. I've been using the Graco QuickShot for, I mean, ever since it came out. I got it right when it came out, and the thing has been awesome. And it's the same technology that's in the QuickShot's gun is in the PowerShot. Another detail I want to go over really quick is if you do not have an XT sprayer, if you have like a 390 older sprayer or something like that, this is the PowerShot XT. This will not be compatible with your sprayer. This is only compatible with the XT sprayers. Now, there is a standard PowerShot that would be compatible with yours. The only difference is it's not Bluetooth and you can't adjust it on this unit remotely. You would just have to go back to your sprayer and turn it up and down on your sprayer, which isn't that big of a deal. I mean, once you kind of dial it in, you're probably fine anyways, but you'll still be able to get this technology with your 390. You just won't have the remote adjustability. But again, the XT would not be compatible with your 390 or the other sprayers. This is only compatible with the XTs, but they make a standard PowerShot. So yeah, let's get to changing this display on the 490. So here we have the old display, and we are going to be replacing it with this new Bluetooth display. You can see the Bluetooth symbol right here. Have the genuine Graco parts that came with it, the screw and the Allen key. So let's just take this right off and let's see what we got to deal with. I feel like this is going to be pretty easy to just remove and put the new one on, but you never know. Okay. It's easy as that. Literally just popped right off. Just one little plug here that goes in here. Let's pop the new one on. Little cord there. Seems like that popped right on. Get this. That was super quick and easy. Make sure they're tight. All right, now we have the display on. Wipe off some of the smearing, fingerprints. Now what we have to do is we have to pair it to our gun. So first, let me take a peek at this. I just want to see if everything was the exact same. Yeah, everything was the exact same. Watchdog well, this says spray mode, it says performance modes. Menu's the same. All the wording is the same, except for smart display and then the Bluetooth logo. But yeah. Now to pair the PowerShot XT to the 490, first let's put a battery in the PowerShot. Let's turn it on. Wait for it to power up. Let's scroll over to pair, and then let's hold it down until it says searching. Now it says searching. Let's hold these two buttons down. Already connected. Since we are not spraying, it doesn't give me a PSI. If I hit this, it does show 0, which shows you that when I hit things, it is registering on the unit, which means it is Bluetooth connected. But we're going to get ready and we're going to start spraying some stuff soon. Another convenient thing you can do with this clip here is it can sit around there and then you can mount the gun right to that. Just kind of let that sit there. What I did do off camera is I attached my hose to there, and then I attached to the hose the PowerShot itself, which is pretty easy to do, pretty self-explanatory there. So we have our PowerShot all hooked into the 490 XT, and I am covered in paint because I just sprayed most of the kitchen, and I wanted to show you guys how it operates now. So I just cleaned the tip a little bit. It had been sitting for a few, so see, there's no spitting. Now the pressure, as you'll see in a second, is around I think it's around 820 to 860. I'm not looking at it, so not exactly sure exactly what it is. I am using a fine finish 210. I feel like I'm going to use way less paint. I feel like the overspray is significantly less than the quick shot, and maybe it's just because maybe I had it too high on the quick shot, but I feel like you have to get to a certain level with the quick shot for it to sound like it's consistent. I don't know if that makes sense. If you've never used a quick shot, you might not know what I'm saying, but it honestly is super smooth. It lays out a really nice fan. I love that it just, as you pull the trigger, it's really instant. There's not any spinning. Now, like I said, I just sprayed a bunch of stuff. I just sprayed most of the kitchen, and there was only a few times where I went to pull the trigger to spray. I pulled the trigger and it didn't like click on. So I was like, uh-oh. And then I pulled the trigger again and paint came out. That happened probably 10 times. It scared me a little bit, but maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe I didn't pull the trigger all the way. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but that's the only thing that I noticed. But it also kept working just fine. So there was no real issues, I would say, at all. But I really, really like it. I love the fact that I can spray without the spurting. Also, the fact that I can adjust it on my side is really nice. I will say, everything I just sprayed right now, I did not touch it at all, just because I kind of set it to what I felt like it was working. I started spraying, it looked good, it felt good, and I just kept going. Never touched it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's the PSI I'm using, and it is a 210. So let's spray a little bit more. The one thing I am curious to know is if Graco does sell a 25-foot hose, because the way I have it rigged up here, really don't need the 50. It ends up being a ton of hose in the way, and it's not the nicest material. It does not like to just lay down. It kind of holds its memory, which is a little bit of a pain. So the PowerShot XT paired with the Graco 490 XT, in my honest opinion, this was a like bulletproof setup. This gun is awesome. You know, I had a feeling I was really gonna like this because I really liked the quick shot and the technology in the gun and how it opens and closes and all that. I won't go into that again, but I really like that technology. So I had a feeling I was really gonna like this. Now, let's go to the battery life. The battery life, I was surprised. I sprayed this whole kitchen and a couple cabinets from another project. So I primed everything, front and back of all the doors, all the cabinets, and I still had like 2 battery powers left on the battery. So I got through all of the primer with 1 battery. I wanna say I got through half of the first coat of paint before it died, but you know, that I don't think is gonna be an issue. You're not gonna get in a situation where you're like blowing through batteries, you know. At least I don't think you will. I sprayed the Gallery Series primer, and then I sprayed the Gallery Series paint, both from Sherwin-Williams. So that is what I sprayed. I sprayed it both with the Fine Finish 210. Now, when I sprayed the primer, I sprayed on a, you know, and obviously you saw, I'm just recapping right now, but it was around 840, and it had very little overspray. And that's one of the things I really liked. I could dial it a little lower than I could with the quick shot. The quick shot, down to a certain level, it doesn't seem like it's spraying a consistent fan. It's still an excellent sprayer for what it is. But I was able to dial this thing on low pressure all the way down to like 840. And I had very little overspray, very little paint waste. And then when I sprayed the paint, surprisingly, I started out right around the same area. I was around 840, and it seemed like way too much pressure. I ended up dialing it all the way back to around 500, 550. That's where I kind of found was kind of nice. I kind of like that, and that's with the 210 as well. So I was surprised. I thought they were both going to be really similar. I thought I was just going to set it for the same 840 and just go, but I didn't. Now, the adjustment on the actual device here on the back that's sitting on your waist, I ended up not even using that. Now, it is a cool feature, but I just, once I set the sprayer up, kind of found my happy like place right there, I never touched it. So it is a cool feature. Maybe if you're spraying like a porch or you're spraying the outside of a house, something like that, and you're up on a ladder and you know, you want to dial it back for around something tight and you don't want much overspray, that could be really cool. I didn't find it super useful for what I was doing, but that doesn't mean it's not useful in some areas. Overall, my full honest opinion is I really like this. I think this is the perfect setup for spraying kitchens, cabinets, all of those things. You know, I did spray two bookcases with this project that I had to spray the inside of the entire cabinet, which was a pain. I don't typically like doing that, but obviously there's situations where I do. And especially with the primer, I was able to, since it was dialed all the way back to the 840, it made sure I wasn't putting too much paint on. With the quick shot, if I didn't keep going, you know, it would put too much on. And even if I was going really quick, it still sometimes put too much on and the paint dribbled. And I didn't have a single dribble with this entire kitchen. I have one of the cabinets here behind me. It's hinged the other way. But this was one of the cabinets. And yeah, so altogether, honestly, I highly recommend the PowerShot gun. If you don't have a sprayer, you're looking for a whole setup, I highly recommend the 490 XT as well, paired with this. Together, I just think it's going to be, this is definitely the new generation of sprayers.